2025 Peugeot E5008 review. A good 7-seat electric SUV that didn't need more power. Peugeot's EV lineup continues to grow by the minute. At the time of writing, there are now 9 electric cars in its lineup. And every model it sells will soon be available as an EV. Starting with the compact E208 and ending with this. The new E-5008. It's another electric SUV and bears more than a passing resemblance to the slightly smaller E-3008, only here its STLA medium platform has been stretched to house up to 7 passengers. Add some Gallic flair and a range of up to 415 miles, in the longest range model. And it should tug on both the heart and the mind. With Peugeot's 508 now dead, by default it becomes Peugeot's flagship car. And it's now gaining the powertrain to prove it, a more powerful dual motor 4WD model. But does that scream overkill in an otherwise very sensible package? At a glance. Pros: comfortable ride, cool and unique interior, big range. Cons: cramped third row. Tech could be more intuitive. Somewhat pointless 4WD model. What's new? The new E5008 is a larger car than its predecessor. At 4,790mm, it's 150mm longer than before. With 60mm of that going into the wheelbase. It's 50mm wider and 40mm higher too. With the overall aims being more space and better accessibility for passengers. We'll get more into that later. Outside, it's stylish for a people mover. Squinty headlights sit above a geometrically excited grille. While 3 Talon DRLs are scratched either side. Moving inside, the latest 5008 features Peugeot's latest interior design called a panoramic i-Cockpit. Featuring a wraparound display that merges a digital instrument cluster and touchscreen. While the E5008 was initially launched with a single, standard range, powertrain option, Peugeot promised further variants would follow, as is now the case. These include a long-range model with an impressive 415-mile claimed range, as well as a dual-motor 4WD model we're trying here. Peugeot has done a little more than just giving the 5008 an extra dose of power. Though, with this version featuring a tighter anti-roll bar and stiffer springs and dampers to help control that extra performance. What are the specs? Alongside the electric E5008, Peugeot is also selling its largest SUV as a mild hybrid and a PHEV. Covered separately in our 5008 review. Here our focus is on the EV, with the entry-level model offering a 73 kWh battery, 207 bhp and a 310-mile range. Getting to 62 miles per hour will take a leisurely 9.7 seconds before maxing out at 106 miles per hour. Courtesy of a second electric motor on the rear axle, the dual-motor model puts out 321 bhp. Dropping that 0 to 62 miles per hour time to 6.5 seconds and raising the max speed to 112 miles per hour. It also packs the same 73 kWh battery, with the range dropping to 290 miles. For those wanting to use their E5008 for big driving holidays. It's easy to see the appeal of the extended range model and its giant 98 kWh battery. With its claimed 415-mile range, the longest of any electric 7-seater. Though we're yet to get behind the wheel. How does it drive? Jumping on board and driving the E5008 is a discombobulating experience. Inside it feels spacious and bright. But its quick, compact steering wheel makes it feel as though you're driving something much smaller. The straight line speed of the standard model is every bit as modest as the spec sheets suggest. Though it's more than enough for in town and if you're not in too much of a hurry. The dual motor addresses that. And it's surprisingly brisk for a large 7-seat SUV when you kick down. Overtakes are dispatched with ease and you'll have no trouble getting it to motorway speeds on a short slip road. But ultimately this isn't an SUV that you'll buy to go fast in. Rendering this dual motor model redundant unless 4-wheel drive. And the traction afforded from it is high on the agenda. It should be said that the grip in 4WD mode especially is quite impressive for a vehicle of this size. And body control is handled well. Ultimately though, this is a car designed for comfort. And it succeeds in particularly French fashion. The ride, while naturally more fidgety and stiffer than the mild hybrid car, it's 600 kilograms heavier after all, is still serene, and somehow a big improvement on the fidgety setup of the smaller Peugeot 3008. Some bumps do make it to the cabin, but most are soaked up. All in all, driving the E5008 can be a peaceful, quiet experience. The one real gripe is the brakes, which you have to really press quite hard on before they start doing anything. They're unnervingly vague until you get used to them, and it's an issue shared with various other Stellantis EVs. What about the interior? Jump aboard the E5008 and the first thing you notice is the high, commanding driving position, quickly followed by the Peugeot's vast infotainment screen. 21 inches in length, Peugeot's i-Cockpit is a floating swath of tech that sits above the tiny wheel. The middle is reserved for the usual navigation and media stuff, while the portion above the wheel takes the place of traditional cockpit dials. It's a cool piece of tech that looks more premium than you'd expect. And it's complemented by ambient lighting and an equally impressive panel below that acts as a dock for shortcuts. It's all customizable, and although the bezel around it is thick, it makes the E5008 feel like a premium place to be. It's not the easiest interior to negotiate, though, with some quite odd placements for features such as the windscreen demister button and ADAS shortcut menu. Tech aside, the cabin wraps around you with interesting design and fabric that wouldn't be out of place on a high-end sofa. Peugeot's designers were aiming for high-end lounge, and when combined with the huge glasshouse and optional panoramic sunroof, we think they've hit their marks. We particularly like other bits of design like the hidden wireless phone charger and storage space. It's been built to a price, but it's not something you immediately notice. Hop aboard the second row of seats and you'll find the 5008's extra length at work. There's lots of space here, but it's combined with some neat solutions too. For example, deep grooves on the rear of the front seats provide extra space for knees. As a result, taller adults could comfortably sit behind their driving position. Go one row back though, and things are a little more cramped. The second row seats are quite clunky to move, and once they're up they reveal smaller seats at the back. They are only really suitable for children or smaller adults, with far less leg room on offer. With the mini seats up, boot space is 348 liters. That'll extend to a much more useful 916 liters with them down. Be aware that dual motor models lose a fraction of boot space because of the second electric motor at the rear, though the space on offer is still more than generous. Before you buy, trims and rivals. The E5008 storms upmarket compared to its processor. The base EV in Allure spec starts at £48.660, around £9 more expensive than the mild hybrid, and £5 more than the plug-in. That rises to £52.040 for the top-of-the-range GT spec we drove. GT gets you more as standard, such as the ambient lighting in the interior, arm rests on the second row, Alcantara, and other trinkets such as the hands-free boot. Outside of its own lineup, the E5008 has relatively little competition in its class. The only other 7-seaters EVs on the market are the £52.810 Mercedes EQB, £65.035 Kia EV9 and the vastly more expensive Volvo EX90, which retails at £82.660. It's fair to say the Peugeot has the lower end of the market to itself. Then, even from within Stellantis, verdict: Peugeot E5008. On paper, the Peugeot E5008 is a slow, electric SUV simply designed to get people from A to B, but in reality, it's a well-designed car that's full of character and space in equal measure. Inside, it gives you something to touch, prod and look at, and outside Peugeot's styling has matured to create something that's interesting to look at despite its size. But it does the basics right too. Legroom is impressive. The range, even in the basic model we drove, is competitive. What's more, the ride is as quiet and as cosseted as you'd expect. The dual motor model is, however, tough to recommend. That extra power is really not needed and the extra money it commands is just not worth it. But choose the standard, or long-range, version, and the E5008 is a likable product and one of the best electric family cars you can buy.